Welcome back to Jadonna Live. Can't even believe I'm saying that because it's been a minute. It's been like either a couple months. It's been something. So I have been, under the weather for a while. Finally feeling a little more refreshed. We're coming back from the dead. Hallelujah. So excited to be back. And in the time I have been away, before I kind of get to that, because I'm easing back into everything, no affirmations today, no intro, no outro. We're literally just coming in, doing things, and kind of moving along. So that's the energy I got for today. We'll have another episode, not next week, but the week after. So now that I'm back, we'll be continuing my bi-weekly cadence. I have an interview in the queue that was already done since I've been out, and that is a good one. I've got an upcoming interview, and actually, oh my gosh, I've got 3 upcoming interviews. So, we'll be doing a little intermixing of interviews and just me. So very excited to be here back, and we're talking about what's been on my mind lately, which has just been the evolution of self. Okay, so buckle up, get ready. Here we go. As I have had time to think in my misery the past couple months, I've just been like, what stage of my life am I in? And I kind of wrote a note all about it, and that's really kind of the basis for what I'll be speaking on today. It's very stream of consciousness, and it's just like, am I striving? Am I resting? Am I just being, like, not analyzing any of it? Have I reached my goals? Do I desire for more? What's the point of more? Like, when we all die, our achievements fade. But do we want to grind in these many moments for bigger success in this moment? Or do we rest so we can kind of look back and reflect on our restful, easeful, still full, and still content life? Is it the rest itself that will lead to contentment? Or is it the rest itself that will maintain contentment? Or, because I've been someone in the past who's been so focused on striving and like doing more and creating more and developing more, there's also that thought in the back of my head, well, the lack of this striving for something bigger, cooler, harder, more interesting, more flashy, more special, will my omission of that make life less worth it? If you compare it, if I did pursue that. And then what makes life worth it? My husband's reading to my toddler, so you might hear them. What does make life worth it? Is it the time spent with loved ones? Is it the fun things that we do? The hard problems that we solve? Do we all have to be trying to be millionaires with financial freedom, able to travel whenever and wherever just to return back home in time to book the next trip? And then what? I'm in such an interesting time of my life right now, which I have been fighting to not judge myself for, because of the kind of target I put on myself to like achieve, and what I have determined that would look like, and it not looking how I expected right now. I feel like from the outside, if I'm looking at my own life, this current stage can be perceived as like aimless. And if you're some of my friends who I've been talking to lately, some of that does feel true, but I have had very lofty goals for most of my life, and I'm in a stage where I don't know what I want next, and I do not know what I'm doing, and I don't have, like, usually I've got goals right now. I've got a very clear plan, and not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind having a plan, a clear goal, but nothing is like sticking to me right now. Like, there's nothing that feels like, that. So that just kind of is what it is. You guys know I'm really big on affirmations, and the reason I typically do those is because I've got a really concrete goal in mind that then I try to visualize and remain consistent in speaking to so it can come to pass. But in the stage I'm in where I don't even have these clear goals to even like affirm, it's wild. For me, that's wild. Like, you may be someone who's like, for me, that's wild. And I think I'm trying to remember all the time that it's not something I need to judge. It's just where I am. And when there are goals that I am interested in, I do create affirmations that really ring true that, I can kind of hone in on. I talked to you guys about my move from California to Indiana in January 2024, but when I moved back, I thought I would kind of pick up where I left off in California, like trying to find a certain role with certain pay. It was impressive on paper. Putting my kid in a fire school with my husband keeping his job and buying our house and just continuing on paper to level up. And I remember my old boss at Disney, shout out to Lisa. We hung out when I was in LA. How you doing, girl? But I remember her telling me back when I was an intern years ago now, don't expect your career or even your life to happen in a linear fashion. For some it does, for most it doesn't. And I remember hearing that being like, yeah, for them it won't. Expecting that it would for me. And nothing like having things not go your way for a while. That makes you kind of wake up and ask, what's going on? Is it me? Did I do something wrong? So even talking to someone the other day who's like, yeah, this person figured out what they were doing next because, they've been praying about it and were led into it. And I really, so don't forget to pray about blah, blah, blah. I am someone under a certain belief that if you have a belief system, it's working for you. You don't, and if you are in communication with who you're serving, me and God in this instance, I don't need to be constantly on my knees to be saying a prayer. I believe my thought and inclusion of God in a thought is therefore an act of prayer. And so I was like, well, I've been including God, just even a little, what am I doing? God, what's going on? Stuff like that, I believe is a prayer. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, it just makes you kind of wonder when things aren't going how you expected. What's going on? I think the ironic part about all this for me is after comparing what I thought my life would be in this stage to what it is, I get a little embarrassed still because I'm like, oh God, what's going on? I really do. I can't say I fully accepted where I am right now, but I feel like it's definitely going there. I'm not super judgmental of it. I am realizing that not every person I thought I would still be friends with in this stage is my friend. I'm realizing that I don't even want to hang out with all the same people I used to before, and accepting that, acknowledging that weekends are slower than they previously were when I lived in the place I currently live, and embracing that it works for me in this stage of life right now. Realizing that going bi-weekly with this podcast, and I've got stickers I'm ordering soon and affirmations I'm sending out for the gifters of my birthday campaign. Shout out to you all. But that may, I was expecting all that to be done by now, but I didn't expect to be under the weather for a couple months. And so just taking what I've been handed and going with that, embracing that, doing this podcast because it's fun and I enjoy it without this thought, ooh, can I turn this into a multi-million-dollar? It's fun. I enjoy it. It's chill. I do it when I can. I smile because after a while, freeing yourself of the idea that what you pursue needs to lead to blah, 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 it's so relieving. And again, Jadonna would be cracking up. I'd be like, well, it doesn't have to lead to stuff, but it doesn't hurt to put something out there, reach for the stars if it happens. Yeah, cool. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And right now, I'm in the maybe I don't. I was talking to Daniel, my husband, the other day about how many things are going on right now that are not, here we go again, are not what we expected, and how I can still say from the bottom of my heart and from my soul that I am content and I am happy. Oof. And I am so grateful to be able to say that because I understand how uncommon that is for people to be when things aren't going their way. And I'm so grateful that I truly feel that way. Without these aspects of my life looking and going how I originally would have thought, nor what I would have originally deemed as successful. I am in the process and really kind of understanding that my success is in my contentment. That's such a freeing again, I just keep taking breaths because I'm these are such You guys don't know. Past me would have been like, oh yeah, those are lovely comments, but like, what are you doing? How are you showing your success? How are you in comparison? That's a huge one to your peers, your successful quote unquote peers, like, which can still be hard for me. LinkedIn is hard for me. I go on and then I'm like, so I'm not on there super long when I go on because then the comparison does creep in. It's like outside of things like that. I'm like, no, you're doing great, honey. And then I get on things like that and I compare. And so that's a me thing. And that's something I'm still working through. It's like, remember, you are content. Don't fall back into like how you used to think about this stuff. My whole life, have been the person who wakes up and it's just like, carpe diem, motherfucker. Like, let's go, you know? Truly just happy to be here. Another thing I do not take for granted because I was born that way. And I know other people are born waking up wishing they did it, which, and so I try to not take that for granted. I try to remind my husband because he's not, what I just referred to. He doesn't wake up like that, but he's not as chipper when he wakes up. I'm like, Dana, we didn't have to wake up today. We should be so grateful. And he's just like, still sleeping, So I get that it's annoying, but I do feel like how things are right now, especially with the energy I feel like I even have to like give to my endeavors and give to the world in return. Like I feel like where I am right now, as wild as it sounds, is where I really need to be. I feel like moving out to California and I was doing a lot of striving. And then I moved back home, like I said, where I thought I would pick up and take off that striving. And it's been like the opposite. It's like kind of returning home. It's like I brought a different version of me here. And it's been like an easeful, settling, kind of like you're home now. You're home again. You can relax and rejuvenate. And I don't think I'll live in Indiana forever. I would be shocked if that happened. You never know. But I really don't think that's, what's in the cards. So it's like right now we're here and it feels good. I'm not thrilled with, all of my current circumstances, but I'm not frustrated. It just is. I've been content in my life before, but I'm rarely in a place where my contentment isn't followed up by some sort of massive plan of striving that's going to get me to the next thing. And I think that's where some of my discomfort lies because I'm used to that. I'm used to that. And whether it's a financial goal, a vocational goal, some material or spiritual goal, it's rarely not a goal at all. And yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know where I'm headed or what my plans are right now. I'm trying to work well enough, parent my kid with love and respect and fun, treat my husband with respect and love and really cherish him, spend ample time with my parents and check in on my siblings, invest in the friendships that make sense for this stage and that have mutual fulfillment. It's if you can hear, my kid is obsessed with my husband right now, so you'll likely hear him yell dada for the next 15 minutes. But it's a very thoughtful but not strenuous stage of my life. I don't feel like striving endlessly to achieve some maximum potential out of myself. I think right now I'm content existing and doing enough to be proud. And when I'm tired, I rest. And when I'm down, I stop. And when I'm bored, I change. And I like to look and feel impressive, but I've lost a lot of the energy needed to really be that way. And if I'm honest, I feel like for my personality and for who I am, that is maturity. That's just me coming into my own more and realizing that wasn't a part of me. That's who I needed to be in certain moments, but that's not who I am currently. And I do have big, adjustments on the horizon, some here and there. Kind of came out of nowhere. So I feel like this mindset's ebbing and flowing. But currently it feels nice to be where I am. Yeah, wanted to share that with you all. I have been in that thought space. And so for any of you who are in a stage of life where you're very contemplative as well, and maybe who you expected to be and where you expected to be aren't what they are. I love that for us. We aren't promised another day. And I don't want to be in constant battle with myself to keep proving something, I admire a creator. She goes by Hey Fern Hey. Listen to her podcast. It's called The Friend Zone Weekly. Check it out if you haven't. But what I love about her, she barely posts on social media. She's like on social, but she doesn't post all the time, even though she has like a super solid following. It's because she doesn't want to, because it's just like not her. And I respect that so much, because so many people operate and conduct themselves in a way that makes sense for others, but doesn't necessarily make sense for them because that's what it seems like they should do. I've always been against that philosophically. I would say most of my life I've tried to oppose that, but it's so ingrained in us as people to just do that and to live like that, to do and to follow a formula that's worked for others, and to just deem it as like the way things work. And I think just by nature of who I am, I've challenged that in a lot of ways with a lot of people at a lot of workplaces and with my parents and friends. There's not one stage of my life where I haven't come into friction with challenging how someone or something does things, but it's okay. We don't have to follow a formula because it worked for other people. So I'm trying to figure out what that looks like for me with regards to my social media. I hate doing as much as I have been doing on my social. And I think following Fran and kind of seeing the brand she built based on authenticity and easefulness and hard work, consistency led her to where she was versus following some formula that worked for other people. I truly believe that what is for me will come. Shout out to my friend Malika for putting that mantra in my head years and years ago. That's stuck with me literally ever since. And reach out at Jadonna live@gmail.com. If you've got any thoughts or contributions to this, or comment on the YouTube page that I have, I would love to get y'all's thoughts. And yeah, I'm here. We're back. And can't wait to keep chatting. Some food for thought, and reach out to me. Yeah, like I said, if you have any thoughts on that, because it's always a pleasure. I love having this space. And until next time, my friends.